Local and live. Covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tristate. Powered by Home Right Windows and Doors in Waynesboro. The right choice. Voted best of the Tristate 2024. Online at homerightwaynesboro.com.
Let's Talk Tristate.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Tri-State, all powered by Home Right Windows and Doors in Waynesboro. The right choice, 2024 winner and best of the Tri-State.
From SPO, or Shippensburg Produce and Outreach.
What just happened here, SPO?
So we're here with Chris and Jody from Shippensburg Produce and Outreach. And you'll notice on their shirts, it says SPO.
Okay.
And Christopher called it SPO.
Oh, very good.
Isn't that a great,
I love it. Yeah.
easy nickname? So,
I thought maybe Katie was just taking it upon herself to rename you.
Well, it'd be a good pick. So.
Yeah.
That's probably where I would have gone
Yeah.
as well. So tell us about SPO. What is the Shippensburg Produce and Outreach?
Well, first, we appreciate you having us here to be able to tell SPO's story. SPO was founded in 2008 by a group of volunteers who wanted to give back to the community. They chose the mission of food, and for the last 16 years, they've been helping out those in need in the Shippensburg area. Like most organizations, they started small. They joined up with an already established food pantry in the area, focusing on produce and focusing on building nutritious meals for families that need a little help. That demand over time has really grown, especially during the pandemic and after. Where other food pantries have maybe struggled, SPO thrived, largely due to the volunteers that they have, and guided by Ms. Karen DeShong, who's the president of SPO. So what SPO has been able to do is meet the need, be a key member of the community for the last 16 years. But with those goals and objectives have come some challenges. So the demand has increased pretty substantially, and they faced about a year ago sort of an inflection point where they had to do some analysis of the organization and really dig down and identify critical functions and how they could improve how they reach out to the community. And that's sort of where we fortunately joined them. I retired from the U.S. Army last year, about a year ago.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jody retired from the Coast Guard in June.
Oh my goodness!
Thank you, Jody.
Wow.
Yeah. And we came across them as part of a skill bridge internship that the Army offers all service members. I really wanted to focus on food insecurity. I grew up in a food insecure household in Virginia, where I'm from, and I always wanted to find a way to give back. SPO became that vehicle for me and for us to be part of the community and to give back. So for the last almost year and a half, we've been helping them out, taking them to the next level, refining their processes, and helping them drive on with the mission that they have created, which is to be of service to the community of Shippensburg.
What is the next level?
Well, so we call it SPO 2.0.
Yeah,
so we
tell
think
me
that's a
about
good
SPO 2.0.
Well, you just love that, don't you?
So like Chris said, I mean, they've been doing this for 16 years, so clearly they're doing something right. Their mission is valid, valued, super important to the community. They're the largest food pantry serving within Shippensburg. They're also, we think, the largest all-volunteer food pantry in central Pennsylvania. So it is all volunteer. There's no paid staff. So the volunteers, Chris likes to say, are the biggest asset that SPO has. People think that for food pantries, the most important thing is money and donations, which is absolutely super important, and we encourage folks to donate where they can, what they can. But the volunteers are really what makes SPO what they are.
Makes SPO go.
Makes SPO. I like it.
And grow.
And grow.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. But what we've been doing over the past 6 months, and it will be a year come June, is, like Chris said, refining the processes and making things sort of repeatable, documenting processes, making sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, so that SPO has a sustainable path going forward. They've done great things for 16 years, and we want to make sure that they're in a position to do great things for 16 years beyond. But I mean, the volunteers are really where it's at. We've just kind of been laying a little bit of foundation work and like I said, making sure that the processes, the good things that they've been doing are the most efficient way of doing things, the safest way of doing things, and so that they can carry forward.
Let me ask you about this. Your name says Shippensburg. Is that the service area, or does it go outside Shippensburg at all?
It's the service area. So we will provide food to anybody who needs it. If somebody from Gettysburg comes up to SPO and needs food assistance, we will give that person food that day. We are restricted to that service area. So in this example, for somebody from Gettysburg, we will direct them to other Adams County assistance facilities there. But we will give food to those who need it. Our clients are either residents of the Shippensburg area or they are employed in the Shippensburg area. So that is how we are able to sort of define our service area.
Do you have a rough number of households, or I don't know how you break that down, but just to kind of put it into perspective for our viewers?
Right.
I'll give you the round numbers, and then Chris can talk about more of the particulars. So what I like to say is we serve about 400 households every week, which equates to about feeding about 4,000 people every month, which is approximately 400,000 meals a year. So it's 400 a week, about 4,000 people a month, and 400,000 meals a year. So it seems like, you think Shippensburg's kind of a small area. When you look at those numbers, the need is real. It's great. It's not getting smaller. It's getting larger since we've started last year. It's grown, I'll say approximately 50, maybe 100 households. It's increased that much just in the past year. And that's, like after the pandemic. So the pandemic certainly was, a demand on all food pantries, I'm sure, and charitable organizations across the board. But even now after the pandemic, the need has not gone away, and it's increased.
Right. If you imagine 16 years ago when SPO started, they were helping about 25 families a week. So from that jump of 25 to over 400, we helped families on Thanksgiving, and we had the largest single day distribution in SPO's history, and it was about 500 families came through. So with that increase of clients also comes an increase in costs. So all the food that goes out is purchased by SPO from a critical partner that we have, which is the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. They service the 27 counties here in Central Pennsylvania. So our food budget is about $200,000 a year, which has grown orders of magnitude the last few years. So being really disciplined with our procurement processes, our inventory, how we manage volunteers' time is really critical, because unfortunately the need for food assistance is not going away. So we need to be postured to continue to support that need and making sure that our foundation is strong so we can be of service.
If somebody needed to come to SPO and needed to get some food from there, is it like a packaged week-long groceries, or how does that work?
It's sort of grocery style. So I do the numbers, I do all the counting and all that kind of nerd spreadsheet stuff.
You have the clipboards.
I am the clipboard. I love it. I brought my notepad anyway. So it's grocery style. So someone that would come, if they're not already registered, they would fill out some paperwork, really pretty basic. It's required by the state in order, and that helps us keep track of funding. Like Chris said, we do have to purchase the food largely through Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. So, the food isn't free that we're giving out. We buy most of it. The groceries, I like to think there's a grocery bag of produce. It's a grocery bag of what we call dry goods, so like dried noodles or sometimes canned goods. And then there's a grocery bag of cold goods, usually like the meat, eggs, milk, that kind of thing. And so those 3 bags of groceries go out the door. It's intended to supplement a family of 4 for a week. It wouldn't meet a full grocery supply for a family of 4 for a week, but it certainly would take the edge off of, I eat cereal every morning. I know I go through a box of cereal every week, so we try to give out a box of cereal. That's not going to last a family of 4 for a week, but it helps. It helps, right. And I know things like that. Groceries just across the board aren't cheap anymore. I know how much we spend when we go to the store to get groceries. So, but those 3 bags of groceries, I think, if I were to go to the store and buy that type of food, would run somewhere above $60 worth of groceries.
And even the staples now, milk, eggs,
exactly,
bread, are
yeah,
just
they're
so expensive.
Yes, exactly. So it does take the edge off. I mean, like I said, those 3 bags of groceries is over $60 worth of groceries, but we're able to get that amount of groceries through Central Pennsylvania Food Bank for a vastly reduced price. So the groceries that we're putting out, those 3 bags, cost us around $10 to $15 per family a week, and we spend around $15,000 a month on the food that we're putting out the door for the families. So it does add up to us, but at the same time, because of the economies that we're able to get and through the food bank, we're able to make the donations that folks give, the corporations, local companies donate. We're able to make that go a lot further than folks kind of can do on their own. Like I said, $15 for us will feed a family of 4 for a week. So, folks that are able to donate $20, that goes a really long way to feeding a family of 4 people for a week. So
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say, well, think about this. If you donate $100, that could supplement, 7 families 1 week, or 1 family for 7 weeks.
Right.
You could help them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And imagine what you can get for $100 at the grocery store. Not much.
No.
As a matter of fact, Jody, your estimate of $60 may have been low.
I think it is.
But you do know what you guys pay for the Central PA Food Bank.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important, and especially in this day and age with how expensive things are. First of all, it's wonderful that you can get that for that price. Yeah. And the fact that someone can just, even $50, whatever you can donate, like you said, $20 will go a long way. And that's what, 3 trips to Starbucks?
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe you don't have 3 lattes, or maybe a latte a week you don't have.
Right.
And then, donate it. I'm assuming 501c3 completely.
Yes.
501c3 since
get your taxes taken
2014.
care of.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I can imagine with that amount of food that's coming in, the volunteers are so important to do all the packaging. And do you have like a packaging day, or is it every day you're putting things together?
On Mondays, so before we came here today, we were with a team to prepare for the following week, and we're taking 2 weeks off for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. But we are planning for the beginning of next year. So on Monday, we receive a delivery from Brian Campbell, which is our primary produce supplier. On Tuesdays, it's all day. So we essentially have 2 shifts for our volunteers. 10 to 1 o'clock is when we do our bagging. We have a lunch provided to all volunteers at 1:30, and then 3 to 6 is when we do distribution. We do also have volunteers who come there at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning and stay until 6 o'clock. But most of the work happens on Tuesday, and then there's some administrative work that we do on Monday mornings.
Now, when it comes to your volunteers, I know you've mentioned it's all volunteer, and it sounds like you're very busy, but is this are you guys, this is basically your full-time job? I mean, I know it's volunteer, but this is what you do.
So sort of, yeah. So we actually started our consulting company. That's how we're helping SPO. It's sort of a full-time job for us right now, because we're kind of in the midst of getting that foundation built for SPO. It is definitely demanding on the time, making connections and just documenting. I do a lot of grant writing, which is time consuming, but certainly well worth it and needed.
Not easy work.
And not easy work. But I think, the volunteers that come on Tuesday, it's a full day. We have volunteers that have all kinds of abilities. We have older folks that come in that maybe aren't super mobile, but there's work for them to do. We have, for our Thanksgiving distribution, we had students come in from Shippensburg University, the cheerleading team. Came in and they were on the later shift where we're actually putting groceries in people's cars. So folks that are looking for, I call it your do-good workout, in the sense of, people that want to work out and that takes time out of the day. Well, you can come to SPO, you can push a grocery cart for 3 hours and put groceries in, and I guarantee you will get your steps in for the day.
You get your curls in.
You get absolutely. You will. It is. It's you're moving for 2.5 hours. and it's a great, doing good at the same time. So it's definitely time well spent.
I don't know if you heard this or not, but they came from Carlisle. You live in Carlisle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a commute
Yeah.
for you guys to get down there to ship it. What is that, half hour?
Half an hour.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's
Up through 11, it's real pretty.
Yeah, he likes the farm country. I think is a great part of Central Pennsylvania,
Oh, yes.
and we really enjoy it. And he's from rural Virginia, so a little touch of home. But I grew up in Carlisle, so we had moved back there after our last assignment in DC when we both retired.
I'm sure you made accommodations, or you make accommodations for this in your weekly orders or whenever you do your procurement orders. But has it come close to where you've been like, we just made it by, or how does that? And the reason I ask is obvious, because it can go to show the urgency or how tight it does get from time to time.
We have had a few moments here and there, a couple moments this last year in 2024 from a spending money side where we've had to make some pretty critical decisions. From an inventory standpoint, we have really focused on making sure that we are able to provide food for at least 4 weeks. So that is a standard distribution per family for 4 weeks. But we have had to really prioritize our spending. We've really tried to prioritize how we are doing our operations from week to week. That said, we are very fortunate to be postured going into 2025 with a little bit more robust system as a whole organization. We've been very fortunate to get some grants that are going to allow us to bring SPO to a more professional level with technology, with technical hardware that's going to streamline a lot of how we do business. So to your question, being able to forecast not only our spending but also our on-hand inventory has been critical, and we've gotten to a really, really strong point this year.
I'll also say sometimes right at the very end, I run the produce table and we're packing produce, and sometimes if we get more families in that we weren't expecting that week for whatever reason, whether it's seasonal, economy, who knows, things take a turn. Every once in a while we do run low, and so having the funds and the inventory and keeping track of it, but having the ability to have a little bit of a fallback is definitely important, because like Chris said, on Thanksgiving we had 500 families, which is a number more than we had planned on having, that we normally have throughout a regular week. And so the need is real. People need the food, and there is nothing wrong with asking for help. Right. But we ask for help from our neighbors too, to help us run so that we can give back to the folks who need it.
So how can our viewers, as we wrap up here, how can our viewers and listeners help you and support you?
Please come to SPO. We're at 130 South Penn Street in Shippensburg. Come on Tuesdays. Again, our 2 shifts are 10 to 1 o'clock and then 3 to 6. Or come at any time throughout that day. You can visit our website, www.shipout.org, or send us an email at info@shipout.org.
Great. Well, Chris and Jody, thank you so much for spending some time with us today on Let's Talk
Thanks for having
Tri-State.
us. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Of course. Yeah. We'll be right back on Let's Talk Tri-State.
Let's talk Tri-State.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.